Hey, Facebook. Guess what? It's your favorite Ruby girl, Dr. K, also known as Coach K. And tonight is time for the Ruby Girl Talk. So I know you're excited because I'm excited because every week we have an awesome, fantastic, phenomenal guest. And when I tell you my guests, I just be in awe of them, the people that I have connected with, the great things they're doing. And Dr. Vernessa. Child, child, child. Just listening to the things she has done and what she's going to do just totally blew my mind. I told her she needs to be in the what is it, the Guinness Book of World Records for some of the things that she's doing. So that's how phenomenal she is. And so if you're just tuning in, what I really need you to do is share this video. And what I need Dr. Vanessa to do is go on my page, find the video and share it on her page. And then her people can also watch along with us. So while y'all are sharing and caring, what I'm gonna do is give you $1 million commercial. Yes, it's on sale this week. So I am once again Dr. K, your favorite Ruby girl, the founder of the international Ruby Girl brand that comes from Proverbs 31 and 10. Who can find a virtuous woman for her price is far above the price of a ruby. So, ladies, this is for you only. It makes you rare, virtuous, and always certainly valuable. So you can always connect with me and connect with all my platforms on my website at rubygirl.net. Go over to rubygirl.net. I got some free ebooks out there. I got some relationship ebooks, some business books. Just go check out the website. So now it's time for us to get to our guest, Dr. Vernessa, which I am so honored tonight to interview. I am ready to get this thing started. So once again, if you're just tuning in, share, share, share. So Dr. Vernessa, could you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Yes, ma'am. I just was sharing. So let me get back over here. Hello, 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 everyone. I am Dr. Vernessa Blackwell, also known as Dr. V. I'm the best-selling book strategist. I help individuals to become bestsellers in my projects. I'm a publisher and grief restoration coach, dedicated to helping faith-driven leaders share their stories through writing and publishing. I've empowered over 650 authors to become bestsellers, and I'm passionate about guiding others to overcome grief and find joy through faith. I'm about to start a honorary doctorate program where we honor Christian leaders with honorary doctorates recognizing their impactful work. It's my mission to inspire, empower, and uplift others through storytelling and faith.
Wow. Now, see, 650 authors?
Yes, ma'am.
That is a lot of people that she has empowered to be best-selling authors. That's a lot of people just to know. I don't even think, let me see it. I don't even know half of that. I will say like 325 people. But to know that many people, that means you sat and had a conversation with them, you have interacted with them. So that says a lot for Dr. Vanessa that she is a people connector and that she has anointing that draws people to her. That many people don't deal with a person or trust them with their story unless she has a spirit of integrity on her and that she's about her business. So I want y'all to keep that in mind as we talk about her next project. I want you to be open to it. Let the Holy Spirit speak to you because what she's doing is phenomenal things. She's going to leave a legacy and you want to be a part of that legacy. So we want to start with your personal journey. What helped you to become a grief restoration coach? That's what I was calling you, a grief coach, but you're a grief restoration coach. Is there a difference also? Could you tell us about that as you tell us about your personal journey?
Yes. So I'm a grief and joy restoration coach. I have dual certification. Most time a lot of people are just grief coach certified, but I have the joy restoration part too. And that which I am very happy about because a lot of times you can get stuck in grief. So my journey kind of started off a little rough. I was in the military for one thing, and I retired in 2017. But I lost all my siblings. I had three sisters and a brother. They all passed away. Both of my parents are deceased. I am the last one left out of five. And so this kind of started my journey into grief coaching. First of all, I did it for my family to help my nieces and nephews and my kids to heal and to find some closure for myself, some sanity for myself. However, I had gotten life coach, Christian coach, And God brought me back to my grief certification and said that was my calling. And I was like, wow. So at 56 years old, I just found out what I was put here to do. I said, well, I'm not going to run from it. I'm too old to keep running. I got to sit down and figure this thing out, and what God is calling me to do. So I started writing in collaborations while I was serving in the military because I didn't have time to do books. So I would write a chapter in different collaborations, and I learned a lot. Had a lot of great takeaways, and then some not so good. And then I said, well, when I started doing my projects, that I was going to create a project where a win-win for others, and so that's kind of how I got started.
Wow. I can't imagine going through that much grief, and then you decide to be who would be better qualified, honestly, to be a grief coach would be you. And I've never heard of a joy restoration coach. Um, and you're right. After you go through grief, sometimes you can't imagine ever laughing again, being happy again, or your life even being normal, even though you might have been through it before, seen other people go through it. And sometimes you need somebody to help you walk through that stuff, because depending on who passes away, it can hit you harder,
Right, that's so true.
last person that passed away, and you need a little help to get through that. And so I just commend you for using your pain, turn it into your purpose. And like you said, 56 years old, I'm finding that God is calling his women that are like in their 40s and their 50s, that we're really out there moving and shaking. I'm
Mhm.
seeing more older women, mature women. There we go. I like that better. Mature women out there that's doing big things, that I really am seeing like the younger women. But a lot of our younger ladies are so busy being doing non-productive things. They're out enjoying their life and everything. But I like the sacrifice that you are making so that somebody else can get through what you've been through.
Right. And then I had a lot of uncles and aunts because I had 13 uncles and aunts on my mom's side, and they passed away too. So I have had to deal with a whole lot of grief. Um, the love of my life was killed in a car accident in 2007. And so it was just like, whoo, Jesus. But like I said, he allowed me to get through all of that. And like I said, I'm still standing. And it made me realize how important it was to create a legacy, because a lot of times people leave here and don't have, nothing left behind. Who's going to remember you, and how are they going to remember you? So I looked at, creating books, writing books and stuff. I said my books will outlive me.
Oh yeah, your books will forever be here, and the people that you connected with will forever talk about their experience with you. Now, what are some practical steps people can take when they feel stuck in grief? When they feel like they just can't take another step without this person?
Yeah, it's kind of hard, but when you're feeling stuck in grief, it's important to take small but intentional steps toward healing. Start by giving yourself permission to just feel, because grief is a natural response to loss. Sometimes you can journal. Journaling your emotions can help you process your thoughts. It helps you to heal. Coloring is therapeutic as well, and it helps you to process your thoughts and give you a safe place to exist. Surround yourself with a supportive community, whether it's family, friends, or a faith-based group. Prayer and meditation also can help provide comfort and clarity when you're going through tough times. Because, like I said, grief can feel overwhelming, but remember that healing doesn't happen overnight. It's take one day at a time, and don't be afraid to seek help, professional help. If you need a coach, a counselor, or therapy, it's definitely needed. Take care of yourself and take time. Take your time to heal, because, like I said, with grief, you sometimes you have triggers, things that will remind you, and it'll just bring a rippling effect and set you back, start making you depressed and deal with anxiety and things of that nature. But take one day at a time.
I think the most hurtful the most hurtful thing is when you go to call the person, or you
Mm-hmm.
be like, I gotta tell them something. I'm gonna go
Right.
by their house, and then it remind you would think you wouldn't forget this, and then you remember they're not there anymore. You know,
Right.
and I
Mhm.
think that's when grief starts all over again because it's so much you still want to share with them, and so much you still want to pour out with them, but you can't because they're
Right.
gone. You
You're
know.
right.
Yeah, and I like what you said, like coloring. I'm noticing there's more adult books out there. There's more people promoting coloring than before. It's so many ways just to channel your grief. You have to get it out some kind of way. And I cried when I went through my traumatic moments and stuff. I cried, and I do admit I've had moments where I've been through trauma when
Mm-hmm.
it came to grief, to where I had got angry at God. And I had told you the story of it. I got angry at God because of what happened. And it took me like well over a year before I could get rid of this thing that was in my heart. But God was so gracious with me that He was working with me because I had felt at the time I needed to make a decision and He just wasn't there. And how do you deal when you have anger with God?
Yeah, sometimes, like I said, you gotta, you gotta take one day at a time, because like I said, you're dealing with your emotions. So sometimes you just, you think about the sadness, the anger, the guilt, and you pray about it, asking God to lift that. Because, like I said, death is a debt we all have to pay. We just don't know when. The grief that you have from a person, it depends on the relationship that you have with that individual. If you really love someone, you're gonna miss them, because you don't have that same. You can't pick up the phone and call. You're not gonna be able to stop by or run something by them, or you got to make all the decisions yourself now. They're gone. But sometimes you just need to be patient because grief has no set timeline to expire. So it is going to take its time. You have to go through it and understand that healing can take months, it can take years to heal. But allow a person to grieve at their own pace. Don't rush people saying, well, you should be over that by now, because it depends on that relationship and you may never really get over it.
Yeah, it's been a lot of grief, bad things that have happened this year, just like right away.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
like plane crashes. And I
Yeah.
think about like COVID. COVID was a big time of grief. The most one story really impacted me that the news had covered. This lady lost her son and her husband to COVID at the same time, and the news station kind of followed her story. They
Mm-hmm.
even actually, which I was surprised, showed them in the casket.
Oh,
And
wow.
so they showed her in the funeral home. It was just her. They showed her when she was burying him, it was only just her because could nobody else come around. So people had to sit in their cars. So there was no hugs during
Mhm.
COVID. There
Right.
was nobody showing up and you giving them a big service and stuff like that. And I
Mhm.
think that really it really, how can I put it, fed a spirit of grief down because that
Mhm.
was different. You didn't get to celebrate the person
You didn't.
like um you didn't have anybody support you. I mean, it was really a time of testing when it came to
Right.
grief. I lost my auntie during that time, and only
Mhm.
11 of us could come to the funeral. I
Right.
met he's in to be number 12. But the funeral was like, we didn't have a preacher. It was just like, then they wanted us to leave before they put it in the ground. So,
Yeah.
it just wasn't no closure during that time. Do you feel like grief was a little bit different during COVID?
Yes, absolutely. I created a grief kit during COVID because I had grief books out, but it was like, and it was so many people that are passing away, and it was just, I mean, just like you said, just at a rapid pace. So I created I had the grief helpline. It was a devotional, and I did the workbook, a journal, a planner, and the coloring book. So I created a grief box to send out to people during COVID. But COVID took grief to a whole nother level. The world was grieving. We were all grieving because we never seen experienced anything like that. Your loved one would go to the hospital. You couldn't go to see them. You had to go be behind a glass, or either they will call you. The nurse can call you on the phone, and you putting the phone up to the window. I mean, it was just, it was it was terrible. And I hope we don't never have to experience anything else like that again in life. But I'm telling you, that was really, yeah, that was a lot for all of
Yeah.
us.
It was a lot because there's ways that we've been taught to grieve.
Mm-hmm.
We've been taught there's a funeral, there's a service that helps with the grieving. And it also helps too that I noticed it's a difference when you go to a funeral where the body's there and
Yeah.
the body's not there.
Mhm.
Sometimes when the body's not there, it makes it easier on the people. But sometimes when the body's not there and somebody dies suddenly, it doesn't give people closure. It makes it so unreal to them. It's like you hear people, I really can't believe this person dead because you never saw them dead. It's
Right.
always like a rumor of them being dead. So
Right.
sometimes you need that closure of seeing that body laid out,
Right. That's a
You,
yep, and that's another thing. Yeah, because like I said, sometimes people, I don't know what's going on now. I mean, I guess after closing, it seemed like a lot of people just like they don't want to know repast, they don't want the funeral, they don't want any of that. You see what I'm saying? But what about the people that's left behind?
yeah.
I think people should think about that because the family, the funeral ain't for the dead person anyway. That's we're gonna celebrate their life, the life that they lived. However, the family that's still left behind needs some type of closure. And I think cremations too are so hard on the family because you have nowhere to go back to. If you want to go back and put a flower down somewhere or the cemetery, you can't go back there. So it took away the traditional way that we're used to, you know, being buried and being able to grieve.
Yeah, and you know what you brought back to me, how people took care of bodies
Mm-hmm.
back in the days, wrapped them up, perfumed them. The body was they care for the body just like it was that
Yeah.
person. And
Mm-hmm.
I just always had this thing about cremation. I'm like, you burning up a person.
Right.
I just could never like wrap my mind around that it's okay. I know that's the thing now, everything, but I'm like just to burn up a body, and like you said, there's no place to go to. And thank God we think about Lazarus in the Bible. Think
Mm-hmm.
if he had been cremated, it would have been,
Right.
I mean, God could have still
Yeah.
resurrected him, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and I remember I had a friend that said he did not want to be cremated. And I said, why? He said, because when God comes back, he won't be able to, I won't have a body for him to come back to. And I'm thinking, like, he can still resurrect you, but people have different opinions on it. So we're going to take a 60-second break, start
Okay.
off good. And I know y'all like, okay, y'all started off with grief, but that's okay. We're going to change it up. And grief is something that we need to discuss. It's something that we need to talk about because guess what? No one gets out of this world alive unless Jesus come back right now while you're still alive. But the chances are you're going to be going out through a box or through cremation or through death, put it like that. So
Mm-hmm.
you will prepare because you're going to experience grief and you got to be able to process it, to handle it. And even the people around you, you got to be able to support them. And I think a lot of times with grief, you just don't know what to say. I mean,
That's
what can you say? You can't bring the person back. Even when you say they're not suffering anymore, that still doesn't console me because this person is not there, you know?
right. Absolutely.
Okay, so we're gonna do a 60-second break. I'm gonna go out there and see if anybody has commented. Like I tell my keyboard warriors, get to typing if you got something to say or a question before I get on Facebook. So go ahead, Dr. Vanessa, and give a 60 seconds little talk or anything that you want to say. The floor is yours. You're the host now.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Again, I just explain who I am. I'm Dr. V. I'm a publisher and joy restoration coach. Through my books and coaching, I help people to find hope and healing after a loss. If you're looking for resources to navigate grief or want to share your story through writing, connect with me on social media or visit my website. You don't have to walk this journey alone. We all need help, and help it can be provided. Help and hope are just a step away.
Amen. Okay. Now, see, that's what I'm talking about. Them people that know how to do 60 seconds, not 60 minutes. So, hey, we got Blair Shapri, Linda, Loretta out there in the house. Hey, Loretta, ain't seen you in a while. We got Janet out there. Hey, 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 hey. So, Linda says, she said, take nothing for granted. And she's right. She said, learning to live without the person is harder than grief. And I do agree with her because it's always a space
Yeah.
That person occupies a space. It might be they text you, memories, just a spirit. They occupy a space in your life that nobody else can feel. And Loretta was talking about during COVID. She said it was tough and scary at times. And then she said, "I don't want to." Then one person said, "I don't want a funeral. I will be cremated. They can have my ashes turned into a necklace if they want. It's expensive to bury." And I think that's why more people go with cremation now because funerals are so expensive. But I'm seeing people put on elaborate funerals now. They got banners. It almost looks like a wedding. Almost they have banners, all these flowers, stuff like that, celebrating. And you usually see that when stars pass away, but now more common people. Well, their funerals are being like big celebrations and stuff like that. And so that's all the comments that I see out there. If I miss anybody, I'm so sorry. Oh, yes. And Linda said journaling. Most definitely journaling, like you mentioned, is very good for grieving. A lot of people don't understand. Sometimes you just gotta write it out. That's how
Mhm.
you release some of this stuff that's going on inside of you. You just gotta release it through a pen. Writing
Right.
is therapy. So, all right, y'all, we on our second part of the show. I thank everybody that's watching now. If you have not shared the show, please share the show. So we started off by talking about Dr. Vanessa as a grief and joy restoration coach. And so she has not told y'all, but I think she did in her introduction that she's the CEO of the Life You Imagine Media. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, she's a businesswoman. She's a CEO, y'all. Okay, she's a CEO. She's a, life coach. She's a anthologist. New word, anthologist. Oh, she put anthology. And so now we're on the second part. We're going to talk about what she's born to do, what she's gifted to do, and that's to help people share their stories. And so now, I'm so super duper um amazingly impressed by this. I Let me tell you how I met Dr. Vanessa. So I was going back to my school for graduation, and my friend Lisa Yvette Jones came up to the room. We were sharing a room. She said, "Hey, guess what? I met this lady. She's doing an anthology." I'm like, "Okay." And she was like, "It's a devotional." Okay. She said, "But it's gonna be 365 authors." I said, "What?" She said 365 authors. I was like, "Are you sure?" And she was like, "Yeah." She said, "I really want to be a part of it." I was like, "Wow, that's amazing. I've never heard of anybody getting together 364 people and writing a book. And so she took me down there and I met Dr. Vanessa, real sweet woman, everything. We was at her graduation. She ended up getting an award also. It was the award for something author. Do you remember that?
Trailblazer.
Trail?
Trailblazer.
That's
Mm-hmm.
a trail.
Visionary. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I said, as an African American woman, you might be the first that ever did this. And so her 365 author devotional, totally incredible. But I just need to know, we all need to know, how did you bring so many voices together for one project? And listen, this was not her family. These were people not in her neighborhood, but all over the world.
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you so much. The Joy 365 devotional project, it was truly a labor of love because we had authors all over the world and we provided divine inspiration. It all started with a vision to create something that would impact lives every single day of the year. And so we wanted to bring together believers from all walks of life to share their stories of faith, hope, and joy. And God allowed us to do that because we had the co-authors from South Africa. Venezuela, the Switzerland. They was from everywhere. It was just amazing.
So how did you meet these people? I mean, only thing I can think of, did you go on a dating website and say, "Look, is there a book meet website like a dating website?" I mean, to meet 365 people, you gotta have had at least 365 conversations. I don't know if I do that in 2 years with people, but to do that, and it took you how long?
It took about 15 months for that book to launch.
Okay.
So it
Wow.
took us about a year to get the co-authors because we started like in July, and the book didn't launch until September of the following year. So it was like, yeah, it took a minute to get them, but I spoke at the University of Johannesburg in South Africa, and I was just, I really wanted to have some of them in the book. So I shared it when we was doing my speech there. And then we went to Dubai. So I met some folks while we were in Dubai for the WIN conference. So a couple of them signed up. Everybody was just intrigued because of the 365. So it actually was some people in here. We had whole families in here, the mama, the daddy, and all the kids too.
Oh,
So yeah, it was amazing because they wanted to help us to meet the goal of 365. So when we got to around 337, 340, some of the co-authors was saying, "Well, what if we don't?" I said, "No, no, 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 no. We will get there. we Our book says Joy 365, so we must have 365." So, and we have been promoting it, sharing our banners and promo badges. So it was no way we could change our title. Not, and we've been promoting it for over a year. So we had to get to 365. So we did it. God blessed us, and we actually launched it with 365 phenomenal co-authors.
how did you keep count of the
We
people?
Yeah, I have a system, and so when they would send their things in, it was being compiled in the book. So we had a table of contents, and the table of contents lists each author, so we knew where we were and how many we had.
It's amazing. And you had a team that helped you with this, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So how did the vision even start for this? Who comes up with this other than God? How did it get started?
Well, God gave me a vision of doing a book with 365 because I've been doing them with a 90-day devotional. And I was like, I think I'll just do one with for a daily devotional. Well, how would I get to a daily devotional from with 90 authors? You could have let them write 2 or 3 pages, then people get upset because they didn't actually get the fourth page, because you got to cut it off somewhere. So and the 90, the numbers was off. So it was kind of awkward. So when I said I was going to do it for a year, that means we all had to still write for one day. Some people were saying, well, we can write for 2 days or 3 days if we don't have enough people. No, man, we're not going to do that. We're going to have 365 authors. So, and everybody's still going to have just their one day. I said, so now y'all can help recruit for the project so we can fill these slots. Or, you can wait until I recruit them and then we'll be able to move the project along like that. So they was like, Dr. V. So we had an affiliate link, and they got paid for sharing it, the opportunity as well, which created momentum for the group because we had a lot of co-authors that can do book signings and things together. So it was amazing. And we
Fact
sold a
that
few books. We really did. We sold a lot of books with Joy 365.
the fact that you have the wisdom
Mhm.
to put this together, that you didn't have anybody that done it before you to guide you through this. This was like totally risk. It was a leap. No, it was a leap off the cliff, the faith. And you stuck by your vision. You could have been like, well, okay, we could have somebody write 2 days, it's 365 days, but you stuck with the vision. You didn't try to dilute the vision. You didn't try to take it back down to 90 days, 6 months, or anything like that. That says a lot about your level of faith.
Yeah, yeah, and like I said, yeah, my faith is strong because, like I said, being going through all the stuff that I went through in life, that I know that it's only God, that has kept me here this long. So when He gives me a vision or whatever, a mission to stand on, then I try to make sure that I'm focused and staying on the assignment. And I tell my co-authors, like, if you have a plan to write a book or whatever vision God has given to you, stick to the plan. Don't try to, recreate it. You've already I wrote the vision down and I made it plain. So all I had to do was put in the work to bring it to life. And by doing like Zooms, Facebook. I got a lot of my co-authors on Facebook. I was on Clubhouse. People were because they was just amazed too at the fact when I kept saying 365, and they said, "How many authors you have?" I said 300 or 302, 318, 325, 327. They know she's getting there, and I'm not stopping until and I will keep putting the number in the group in front of the co-authors. We're at 343. We need 22 authors. Between 300 people, somebody that will, that can come in the project, you see what I'm saying, with us. And so we gave like specials, we ran specials, and we did t-shirts and a lot of products around the book and the brand. So we always had little gifts and stuff, and you know, so it was amazing. We just made it fun the whole time. We just blended and did what we had to do to make it possible.
So you created a community of authors
Yes.
before some of them was even authors.
Mhm.
That's a wow, y'all. Listen, I want y'all to put in the comments. Do y'all think this woman is totally amazing? Do you think this woman walked by faith? But this was just put it is, do you think this is a God project? I got y'all writing out a whole paragraph in the comments. But Dr. Vanessa, this is number one, unusual. Number two, this is powerful because it's like God will give you assignment and it's like, okay, God, I don't even know what to do, where to start with it. And it's always got to be bigger than what you can do because that 300, even managing 365 people, being a leader, that's just like Moses when he was leading all those people when God gave him that assignment. Moses hadn't been a leader. Moses had to lead a whole nation. So God basically did that to you. He stuck you in front of 365 people to lead. I'm quite sure you fell on your face sometimes like Moses did. You probably struck more than the rock at times, but you still saw it to the end. You got to the promised land. Moses didn't. He just got to look and see it and admire it and smell it and feel the wind, but you fulfilled the promise. So this is what I want us to get out of just what she has done with this 365 authored book is that what seems impossible is always possible with God. And God wants us to do big things like this. When God gives you a vision, no matter how big it is, don't be scared of it. Start writing it out and then start getting your people to run with it. Like you said, you ran specials, you had t-shirts. You was teaching these people how to run with a vision. You was helping them. You was passing them the baton as they ran with it. These people had to catch on to your vision to want to do it, to hold families, to get in there, got the kids in there writing with their crayons and everything, putting together a devotion, to bring your vision to pass, not theirs. So you can, y'all, how do we get your book?
Yeah, so it's on my website at www.lifeyouimagine.com. All of my books are there.
Okay, so if y'all look in the posting section, her link is already there. You have to get your hand on this book. This book is historical. Like I said, she's probably the first African American woman, probably the first African American to put together a book with 365 authors. I'm surprised you're not on the news every single day, you know. But anyway, that is amazing. So now she has established herself as an anthologist. I like that. As an anthologist, y'all. When I said the queen of anthologies, y'all better think Dr. Vernessa. She's the queen of anthologies because to do this, you have to have amazing patience. Because I would have just I did the Moses. I promise you I'd have beat that book with a stick and be like, I'm done for. But I thank you for following through and for bringing the vision. You taught us that whatever God gives us a vision to do, we can bring it to pass and he will open the doors. Because when I met you, you was at 200 and something people because you had no problem with your numbers. She knew her numbers. She was on top of her game, y'all. So what upcoming projects or books are you working on and how can people connect with you for coaching or resources?
Okay, so I am working on launching a Christian university, Vernessa Christian University, where we'll be honoring faith-driven leaders with honorary doctorates for their impactful work. I am also working on Rising Through the Pain. It's a 90-day devotional, and we will help people to restore joy and talk about grief and loss. I'm using the funding from Rising Through the Pain to launch Vernessa Christian University. So we're about half full. We have about 45 slots left. It's going to be amazing. And it's not just because of me, but it's because of when we come together, we're going to make it that way. So all of my co-authors, I give them a chance to shine. We share in the group what it is that you do. What's your business and what do you do? How can we connect? And some of the co-authors come to your show, or how can you all think about doing maybe a book signing together in your state? How can we do like retreats, cruises, and other things? Life is still life happening out here, but we all have goals and dreams that God has given us, and we want to be able to network and make it happen. I always tell my co-authors that teamwork makes the dream work. We cannot do it alone. The vision is much bigger than us. So it gives us people. I've reached out to my faith leaders, speakers, other authors, all the author groups. I mean, you just really got to tap into folks and let them know, I have a vision that God has given me. I'm willing to share, network with you. How can we partner and make it happen?
I like that. I like that. She's already showing y'all that she's the type of person has no problem with collaboration, and that's very important. So, how do they connect with your to be a part of your latest anthology? They can just go to your website.
Yes, so you can schedule
Okay.
a meeting with me at www.chatwithdrv. It's chatwithdrvee.com. Chatwithdrv.com, and we'll schedule a meeting, and I can show you help you to get inside the next project that we're doing, Rising Through the Pain, and hopefully you be online with us for the next doctorate program, because we're going to keep this train moving.
Tell us a little bit about rising through the pain.
So
What are
rising
you looking for?
So Rising Through the Pain is a devotion. It's a 90-day devotion. And we're looking for people to talk about some of the struggles you have. Like some people have written about, maybe they have problems with, they've been struggling with lupus. A couple of them talking about PTSD. Um, I think a few of them in there talking about divorce, empty nest. So it's where have your struggle, where your struggle been, lie. So I want people to stay honest and true to themselves, because that way, if a person asks you, hey, on page 57, Barbara Conyers was over there and she was talking about, I said, yep, and that's her website is there, and you can contact her on Facebook or at doing her website. So they can contact you. They won't have to ask Dr. V about your story, because I can't give it to them. And we that way it leads them back to the co-author. So that's how the all of the projects are set up. We go through a lot of things though. We talk about marketing, because I want you to sell books. We're not coming over here just to make bestseller. We're gonna sell some books. So that way you know how to be you're a best-selling author, but you also know how some of the language and how to sell books, right? Because I keep books in my house, and I went to a vending event on Saturday, set up and made $400. So there's no excuse when you're an author. You keep the products on hand, and you go out here and you vend, or you get on Facebook or social media like this, and you sell books and ship them, sign and ship.
Doing classes to help authors. There's a lot of authors out here, but there's not a lot of authors that know how to market their book. Like I wrote 2 books, and I'm not gonna say I'm a great marketer of my books. What I have been doing, my latest book is I did a skit off of it. I'm doing classes off of it. I want to do a play off of it. But the hand to the customer to consumer, the business to consumer, I just been a little lax on that, but because I'm a new author, so I just watch other people what they're doing and stuff. But you probably make a lot of money on the class. I definitely sit in on your class and find out some tips and tricks, because marketing is a hard thing for business owners. It really is.
Yeah, well, I have a lot of templates, because, like I said, doing the 30 books that I've written, sometimes I like to try to sell my books in bulk, right? So yeah, I'm fine with doing the vending events and selling 1 or 2 books, or a set or a bundle, because I like to say, well, today you can get these 2 books right here for $44, and then instead of me saying that, you can just buy one for 20, right? So I've
Okay.
always advertised mine in some type of special, make people feel they getting something cheaper than they would normally pay. And I'm getting rid of 2 books at a time instead of one.
Okay.
Um,
Bundles. Okay, got it.
Bundles,
Fish.
they work, right? A
Yeah.
sign on your table to say free. I'm giving away something free. Now, free could be a bookmark. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It could be a
Right.
pen, a piece of candy wrapped in this book in a plastic bag with a pen and a bookmark. That's the free gift today. You say,
I'll be over here. Okay, a book free. What?
yeah, free. Yeah, come on over here. You get something free. That's that. And then candy. A lot of times, if you're out bending or you're at events or whatever, put some candy over there. People come and get a piece of candy,
Oh.
and then you got them when they stick their hand in that candy dish. You say, "Hi, my is."
Now they gotta sit there. They done partake of the table, so now they gotta listen to the pitch that comes from the
Yeah,
table. Now
that's
you
it.
say you're reading 30 books.
Hmm.
Wow, which one do you feel had the most impact on the readers and
I
why?
I think it was really Joy 365.
Mm.
I really think that Joy 365 was the most impact that we made because we had co-authors from all over the world. So
Mm.
like I said, we had speakers, coaches, pastors, children. We had teenagers, and we had our youngest author was 7 years old. And she had a very cute little story, right? Her devotional was really meaningful. So, like I said, the book was for all ages. So I think that was the most impactful project that I've worked on since I've been writing.
Oh wow, that's amazing. That's
Mhm.
amazing. Dr. Vanessa, guess what time it is? It's time for the end of the Ruby Girl talk with you. And this has just been fascinating to me. I am just in so awe of how women, especially women of color, are out here just movers and shakers and so talented. So we bring so much to the table. We don't come with a card table. We got this long dining table because there's so many gifts and talents that we have. And yours is truly gathering people together, truly working, you're a wordsmith, as they call it, and you are truly walking in your calling also as a grief and joy restoration coach. And I just think about all that you went through and you still find joy in each and everyday life. So that tells us that if we've been through a quarter, a little bit, an inch of what you're going through, and we're sagging and dragging, then we need to shake that off, raise our head up, and say, hey, I can make it through this. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to close out. Once again, I'll give you the host to you 2 minutes, and I'll trust you because you're time wise. So go ahead and give us a 2 minute closeout. But before you do, I do want to pull up your website so that everybody can, while you're talking, I'll be going through your website. Let me find it here. Okay, before we get started. And so here we go. All right, Miss Joy. All right. I said Miss Joy. You bring joy. All
Oh,
right, Dr. Vanessa.
right. Well, thank you so much, first of all, for having me on the Ruby Girl Show. I am really, it was an honor to be here. I am going to continue my work as a best-selling book strategist and grief and joy restoration coach, where I will continue to help authors write and publish their stories while guiding others through the healing journey of grief. I truly believe that everyone has a story worth sharing, and I'm here to support and empower them to do just that. If you're interested in coaching, need help writing your book, or want to learn more about upcoming projects and maybe being in rising through the pain, you can connect with me on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn by searching for Dr. Vernessa Blackwell or Dr. V. Let's journey together toward purpose, healing, and impactful storytelling. God, people need what you have, and I'm here to help you to get it out to the world.
All righty. You can keep talking. You got about a minute
Okay, well, thank you
left.
so much. Like I said, this has been amazing. Thank you so much. Like I said, the Joy 365 and all the other products that I've created for grief and joy restoration. As you can see, Dr. Karan, going through my website, I create products for best-selling authors. Joy is my thing. I always try to find joy. I look for joy every day because, like I said, we could be sad and depressed all the time, but we're still here. So we have a reason and a purpose. God has, He woke us up this morning, so He has something that He wants us to do. And when we look at it like that, um, we're going to go out here and do amazing things together. If you need help or whatever, a coach, there's plenty of people out here. I am here if you want to become a best-selling author, if you want to build a brand as an author, if you want to be a coach, a speaker, or whatever. Books will help you to build your brand. It gives you the it gives you power. It gives you the connection that you need, and then you have products that you can sell along the way.
Hey man, I love these products you got out there. So if you're
Thank
looking for some products, make sure you come to her website. I love it. You don't even have to put your products together. You can just go get hers and become a best-selling author. So
you.
don't forget that she's also she's doing another devotional, and so she's looking for some people to join her in this next devotional. So give us your website again.
It's www.lifeyou, the letter U, imagine.com.
All right. So I just want to thank Dr. Vernessa for coming on the show tonight. I am so honored to be able to play a little part in the vision. I'm helping just a
Thank
little
you.
bit to get it out there.
Yes,
I can say I helped. You
yes.
know,
I
I just
appreciate you. And like I
I,
said, come on over here, right with us, so you can see some of the steps that we go through. Because I think that a lot of people think, "Hey, I got to write my own book." You really don't. Collaborations they are wonderful, and it's a way to get your book out to a wider audience. Because when we start promoting our book, it's going to be 90 people promoting at the same book. So this is how you make some noise out there in the community. You don't have to do 90 in a collaboration. You could do 20, 25. 24 other people besides you. Hey, that's a good number. You see what I'm saying? So, and that's how you make your team. You have a team, everybody's working on the same vision. But I love anthologies, they work. And if you want to do one, I'm your girl, inbox me. I'll be ready.
I love that sales pitch. She got it down pat. So I want to thank everybody that's watching tonight. I'm always looking for guests. So if you would love to be a guest on the Ruby Girl Talk, if you love to sit down and be in front of my audience and have a good talk. So listen, let me tell you about being on my show. There's plenty of people have been on my show, have made connections, sold things, went on to the next level. God just supernaturally does something. Some things I find out about later and I'll be like, well, how did you connect with this person? Oh, I
Mhm.
saw them on the Ruby Girl talk show and everything. So getting out on people talk shows, even though I'm on Facebook, I still have an audience. I still have a reach, and people see the videos and they do become interested in your story and what you have to sell. So if you would like to be a guest on the Ruby Girl Talk, go to my website, rubygirl.net, click the talk show tab, and you can be a guest. But Dr. Vanessa, I want to thank you so much. You are totally amazing woman. We pray your strength that you continue to do what you do and make the impact that you do. And then when your final days come, that you stand before God and He said, well, well, well done, good and faithful servant. You
Thank you
know?
so much. Thank you so much
Yes.
for having me. I'm looking forward to seeing you in that group in our group.
Oh, we. All right, y'all.
All right.
Have a great and fantastic night. We're signing off Facebook. So Facebook, we want to thank you once again. If you just tuning in, please share this video. And I pray that it was a blessing. So leave a note in the comments for Dr. Vanessa if she really impacted you and just let her know how amazing she is. So good night, Facebook.